We are going to explore honor killings in Colombian culture. This relates directly to the Vicario twins' murder of Santiago to preserve Angela's honor after being returned to her family in shame the morning after her wedding. Honor killings, by definition, are a homicide against a family member, usually female, by an assertive male member to protect the family's honor from shame. Typically, the woman has engaged in a relationship outside of that arranged by the family, or has been sexually involved with someone of a lower class, or the like. This promiscuity brings dishonor on her family. It is often decided in a family council and supervised closely by the community that her father, brother, or other male relative must kill her to regain honor, to purge the family of that shame. The surrounding community, who is usually aware of the woman's promiscuity, typically expects her to be beaten or killed, and very much treat the family as dishonorable until the sin has been accounted for and the family has redeemed themselves. This collective nature of honor killings is what makes them so fascinating when studying societies as a whole. While most modern cultures today agree that murder is wrong, the idea of purging a shameful person from the community is not uncommon in literature and has historical relevance, and reveals the ability of a society to turn against their own in the name of a single value revered by a certain group. Furthermore, the reasons for an honor killing are not limited to sins of sexuality. Depending on the community, the justifiable reasons for murder may include changing religions, participating in customs outside the expected norms, or communicating with members outside of a specific community. While murders related to sexual acts are most common, these other reasons are significant. One should also note that the redemption usually involves a family member acting against a female. In rare occasions, the roles are reversed, or the murder victim or perpetrator may be outside the family. In these cases, it is especially difficult to regain honor, as the community is likely more involved with the situation and will judge the family harshly. Honor killings are historically very common in traditional Southeast Asian cultures, where there were very specific expectations for how women were to present themselves. However, both historically and today, they are most common in radical Islamic cultures, usually in the Middle East or Islamic nations in Africa. It is well known that women in these radical Islamic cultures are oppressed and controlled by their fathers or husbands. This relates to honor killings and their justified reasons as tied to the culturally specific social norms. In strict Islamic families, a woman's family controls who she marries, and she is given to her husband as an object, and has no say in the matter. While honor killing has no direct link to religion and justification, in individual cases, a family may feel their actions are justified under God to punish the woman's sin. Represented by the line, "Before God and before men, it was a matter of honor. There was nothing to repent." Once again, however, various cultures expect and accept different things and have varying beliefs on what God feels is the right response.
In Colombia, until 1980, a man could legally kill his wife for committing adultery. While these events were less common in Central America than in Middle Eastern cultures, the traditional value was very similar. Women were raised to be housewives and were treated as objects, there to serve and to be controlled by their husbands or other male family. Likewise, women were given to a man chosen by their family and could be returned in shame if they were not acceptable to the suitor. The 1980s, where this novelist said, was a time of modernization for Colombia. Economic progress, industry, and urbanization were occurring. The more relevant changes included traditional values in regards to family roles, women's place in society, and social relations in general were giving way to more open-minded modern behaviors, including less oppression for women and families, and women having more choice in their profession relationships, and roles outside of the house. However, in this situation, we see honor as a reason for murder is very much acceptable and expected, despite the progressive change and women continued to have a submissive role. It is also important to consider the relationship between Colombians and Arab immigrants and how their similar views on honor killings overlapped and affected behavior. Starting largely in the 1880s, Arab immigrants, mostly from Syria and Lebanon, immigrated to Central and South America. While some were escaping political or religious persecution, others came for economic prosperity or the adventure of immigration. Notably, many of these Arabs were actually practicing Catholics or Christians, and were drawn to the Roman Catholic Spanish countries. These Christians, while obviously different from the Islamic Arabs, did maintain some traditional values or beliefs from their Muslim counterparts, including ideas about women's shame and their submissive roles in the community. This combination of cultures in this context meant that women were in even more danger of being severely punished for dishonorable relationships, because both the Colombians and Arabs felt honor killings were an acceptable response to a woman not being a virgin before her wedding, or otherwise not following what was expected of her. Both cultures agreed that women should be punished for these sins, despite having a hypocritical double standard in which it was understandable and accepted that men would have slept with other women before. Men were constantly harassing women and attempting to seduce young girls before marriage, making it difficult for women to fulfill their duty. Yet only women were held to their higher expectations with fear of punishment. In the novel, we see this with Angela Vicario and the competing families of Bayardo as an Arab and the Hispanic Vicario twins.